この夢は永久に見ていきたいと存じております。ありがとうございまし
If
た。
this was a dream, I certainly would not like to wake up at all. Thank you very much.
どうもありがとう。
How a poor Japanese boy created a Honda. Soichiro Honda was a Japanese engineer and businessman who is most Soichiro Honda was born on November 17th, 19 Crest. Early on, Honda was very interested in motor vehicles. Even when he was a little child, Honda was captivated by motor vehicles. He would say that the smell of oil coming from the first car he ever saw in his small village was something he would never forget. He even once took one of his father's bicycles to attend a display of the aircraft created by pilot Art Smith, which solidified his enthusiasm for machinery and creation. Thus, Soichiro Honda noticed an advertisement for an automotive service firm called Tokyo Art Shokai just before he left school in 1922. The headline of the advertisement said, "Manufacture and repair of automobiles, motorcycles, and gasoline engines." Honda also saw that this corporation has published a significant number of advertisements in publications geared toward automobiles and bicycles. Yuzo Sakakibara, the proprietor of Art Shokai, saw the young Honda's talent almost immediately, and Honda would go on to gain a great lot of knowledge about engineering and business from Yuzo. During this historical period in Japan, the possession of these kinds of conveyance was confined to members of a fairly select social class. Additionally, throughout this period there were a great deal of major and small automobile producers all over the globe. These manufacturers' output ranged from mass manufacturing to limited production runs of high-quality automobiles. In light of this, Art Shokai served as a veritable furnace for the young Honda, who would soon become conversant with a diverse selection of vehicles and motorbikes. Because Honda had such an insatiable appetite for information and was always willing to pick up new skills, the position of apprentice he had at Art Shokai was perfect for him at the time. Soichiro would put in a lot of effort to broaden and enhance his grasp of vehicle engineering, as well as his knowledge of the subject, to such an extent that many of his contemporaries were taken aback by the breadth and depth of his knowledge. After working in this role, he went back to his hometown in 1928, when he was only 22 years old, and started his own auto repair business. In 1928, after completing his apprenticeship, Honda established his very own location of Art Shokai in Hamamatsu. Because of this, he would be the only one of Sakakibara's trainees to have achieved this goal. At the age of 21, Soichiro Honda utilized all of the skills and information he had learned to broaden the scope of the services offered by the garage much beyond basic automobile maintenance. Because of his efforts, he would become known as the Edison of Hamamatsu in the following years. By the middle of the 1930s, the department had expanded from having a single person to having around 30 employees. Sachi, Soichiro's wife, had also joined the firm in order to assist with its management. She pitched in by preparing meals for the staff members who lived on site and assisted in maintaining correct and up-to-date financial records. When Japan joined World War II on December 7, 1941, whatever intentions that Honda may have had for the long-term success of his organization were, quite literally, blown out of the water. The Japanese Ministry of Munitions was given direct command and control over Tokai Seiki when the company was put under its jurisdiction. In addition, Toyota was given 40% of the company's share in the same year, 1942, and Honda was demoted from his position as president to that of senior managing director. As a result of being called up for military duty, a significant number of male workers started to quit and to contribute to the war effort. The majority of the plant's female workers joined the so-called volunteer corps and started working at the factory. In an effort to make the manufacturing process easier to understand for the relatively inexperienced volunteers, Honda assisted in the process of calibrating the machines and developed techniques for automating the production of their primary product. He also created a kind of automated milling machine for wooden aircraft propellers at the request of Kaiichi Kawakami, who was the president of Nippon Gaki, which is now known as Yamaha. It had previously taken a week to construct a single propeller by hand, but now it was able to crank out 2 every 30 minutes. In addition, it was extremely clear that Japan was on the verge of defeat as the airstrikes started to accelerate in the year 1944 and began to target their country. A direct strike from a B-29 bomber raid caused almost all of Hamamatsu to be flattened, while the Yamashita plant owned by Tokai Seiki was completely wiped out. Also, a second catastrophe befell the corporation in January of 1945 when the Nankai earthquake devastated the Mikawa area and its Imada plant collapsed as a result of the earthquake's aftershocks. In the wake of the atomic bombings that took place in Nagasaki and Hiroshima, as well as Japan's formal surrender in August of 1945, the futures of both Japan and Honda were about to undergo dramatic shifts. At the conclusion of World War II, Honda parted ways with any usable components of Tokai Seiki and sold them to Toyota for around 450,000 yen. In 1946, he established the Honda Technical Research Institute using the money he gained from selling the company. In 1948, Honda began manufacture of the Type A, which was the company's first powered bicycle. This motorcycle had Honda's first mass-produced engine and was available for purchase until the year 1951. Also, in 1949, Honda began mass production of the Type D, which is considered to be the company's first real motorbike. It had a pressed steel frame and a 2-stroke 96cc engine that produced 3 HP, 2.2 kilowatts, and it was going to be the first model in the Dream series of motorcycles. Both the Type A and Type D versions are included in the Society of Automotive Engineers of Japan's list of 240 landmarks of Japanese automotive technology. Soichiro Honda, who was the company's president at the time, would grow the business into a multi-billion-dollar international corporation that would become famous for producing the most successful motorbikes. Because Honda is so knowledgeable about both engineering and marketing, the company's bikes ultimately outsold those of Triumph and Harley-Davidson in each of those manufacturers' respective home markets. In 1959, Honda Motorcycles will launch its first dealership located in the United States. Up to the time of his retirement in 1973, Soichiro Honda would continue to serve as president of the corporation. And after this point, he would continue as the company's director and would be promoted to the position of Supreme Advisor in the year 1983. Because of his prominence, People magazine named him one of the 25 most intriguing people of the year in 1980 and referred to him as the Japanese Henry Ford. During his retirement, Honda kept himself active by working on projects related to the Honda Foundation. Even when they were in their later years, Soichiro Honda and his wife enjoyed spending their senior years skiing, hang gliding, and ballooning. In addition, both Honda and Takeo Fujisawa have agreed that they would never coerce their children into joining the organization that they run. And on August 5, 1991, Soichiro Honda passed away due to complications from liver disease. And that wraps things up. We appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Please hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one.